From this ayah we learn that acquiring of the knowledge of deen is not only for yourself. You have to study Islam and also you have to go and propagate. As you are here, IPCI, International Propagating Center, Islamic Propagation Center International. Because why? They are also propagating knowledge. So today we're witnessing the graduation of the student of knowledge. So whatever knowledge they have to go now and propagate it. They have to go and teach others. Why? Because the Messenger of Allah, the hadith says, بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلُوْ آيَةً. That convey on my behalf, even if it's a verse of the Quran. So now this knowledge that they have achieved, now it is their duty now to go out there and propagate this knowledge. Nu'man ibn Thabit ibn Zuta was a great scholar, which all of us know about him. But you know him by the name of Abu Hanifa, may Allah have mercy on him. He met a Sahabi, he met a companion of the Messenger of Allah by the name of Anas ibn Malik. And from him, he had a hadith that طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم ومسلمة أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. That to search and to go to learn the knowledge of Islam, it is a duty upon each and every male and female Muslim. It is their duty to go acquire that knowledge. Why? Because they have to know the ahkam of ta'abbud. They have to know the laws, how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If a person does not acquire the knowledge of deen, how will he or she worship Allah ta'ala? How will he or she know that this is halal, this is lawful, and this is haram, and this is forbidden? So the only way is to go out and study Islam. Therefore, a person will be able to have that knowledge. That's why the hadith, the Prophet said, إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ. If one knowledge, you have to go and study knowledge. Then you're gonna have knowledge. So one of the predecessors, he mentioned something about acquiring this knowledge with sincerity. Because to acquire this knowledge, there have to be a sincerity. To acquire it only for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing else. Then he says, طَلَبْنَا الْعِلْمَ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ فَأَبَى أَن يَكُونَ إِلَّا لِلَّهِ. That while we were acquiring this knowledge, while we were studying, our intention was not to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the knowledge itself refused to be except for the pleasure of Allah ta'ala. Then they changed their intention and their sincerity to be for the pleasure of Allah ta'ala. So likewise also, to acquire this knowledge, a person has to be sincere that he's only acquiring this knowledge to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not to be called a scholar, not to be called whatsoever the name may be, but only to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This knowledge, it is an inheritance of the Anbiya alayhim salatu wasalam, of the Prophet, may peace be upon them. The Prophet sallallahu in the hadith says, Al-ulama'u warathatul anbiya. That the scholars of Islam, they are the heirs of the Prophet. Why? Because that knowledge that they are teaching, that knowledge, it has been taken directly from the Anbiya alayhim salatu wasalam. In another hadith, the Prophet said, نحن معاشر الأنبياء لا نورث ما تركناه صدقة. That we, the group of prophets, there is no inheritance that can be inherited from us, except that whatever we left behind, it is a charity. فَمَنْ أَخَذَهُ أَخَذَ بِحَظٍ وَافِرٍ أو كما قال السلام. So whosoever will grasp that knowledge, that person has achieved a great share and portion. So, we as humans, sometimes we become curious, If I acquire this knowledge, if I study Islam, what I'm going to achieve, what I'm going to get. So the answer is in the hadith. One hadith, I'm just going to brief it. Where the Messenger of Allah said, مَنْ سَلَكَ طَرِيقًا نَلْتَمِسُ فِيهِ عِلْمًا سَهَّلَ اللَّهُ لَهُ بِهِ طَرِيقًا إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. Whosoever goes out in search of the knowledge of Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make for him or for her the way to paradise easy. So that's what you're going to achieve. You're going to achieve paradise. There's no any worldly benefit you're going to get. Rather, you're going to get the benefit which is endless benefit. To be successful in the next life. They're the person what is going to get. And also our scholars of Islam, they have made a comparison between ilm and mal. Between knowledge, the sublime knowledge, as well as mal, wealth. Then they say, if a person has wealth, he makes sure that he look after his wealth. He puts securities, CCTV cameras, to make sure that his wealth is secured. So he looked after his wealth. On the other side, the knowledge, it looks and guides a person. This is halal, this is lawful. This is haram, this is forbidden and unlawful. So this comparison was made by the scholars of Islam for us to understand the significance and the importance of the Islamic knowledge. And then Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he also mentioned the hadith. He says, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. He says that the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, من يريد الله به خيرا يفقهه في الدين. That person whom Allah wants good for him, He gives him the understanding of religion. So now these students who are graduating today, Allah wants good for them. Why? Because Allah has given them that understanding of knowledge, that understanding of religion. Then in conclusion, the knowledge of Islam will be taken away towards the end of time. That does not mean that Allah Ta'ala will take away the knowledge from the chest of men or from the chest of scholars, but Allah Azza wa Jal will take away this knowledge by the death of the scholars of Islam. So the great scholars have died. Imam N.Ali, many scholars, even our 4 Imams, and other scholars, they've died with that knowledge. So whatever they compiled in books and volumes is left with us. So whatever they did not compile, they went with it. So this is how the knowledge will be taken away. So with these few words, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the understanding of religion, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also make us to act upon that knowledge. Wallahu ta'ala alam, Allah know better. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.
Jazakallah for that, Mufti Saab. Alhamdulillah, we have a very attentive audience, and the line to remember, Maulana Rafiq, is Rabbi Zidni Ilma, O Allah, increase us in knowledge. And when it comes to knowledge, someone that I embraced on many platforms, Sheikh Hamza Mbele, on radio, on, even lecturing to students. He's someone that grabs your attention immediately, not because of his size or his stature, it's because of that knowledge that's given to him, alhamdulillah. With his humility, I don't want he'll call me Prince Bonnie, Charlie, or some other name he'll give to me. Sheikh Hamza Mbele, alhamdulillah, be all ears and inspire us, inshallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Respected ulama, Sayyid Maulana, Assalamu alaikum, Mufti Saab, Mfundisi. We are beginning to use the terminology of the people of the place. Our Maulanas, we call them Mfundisi now. Because in the Zulu language, Mfundisi, it means the one who teaches. So we have come to, including Maulana. Maulana is even more deeper than that, because Maula is the one who is more like your slave, not you are his slave. If you do not have knowledge, he is the one who must give it to you. So many people will say here in Islam that no, the Maula is only Allah. We say no, we refuse. Because Allah says in the Quran, He has created things in two. There is tall, there is short. There is black, there is white. And there is Allah is the Mawla. And there is the Mawla who is who is in the dunya. As Allah is the Malik, and there can be a Malik on the dunya. Bakwethu, ngithanda ukunibingelela ngebingelelo zasezulwini ngithi assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ukuthula makubekeni nonke. Mina eyami inkulumo ngizoyishiba. Ngizokhuluma isiNgisi, ngikhulume nesiZulu futhi. Kodwa kungijabulisa kakhulu ukunikezwa leli thuba lokuma phambi kwenu. Sizowabelana ngolwazi oluncane uAllah asinikeze lona. Kodwa angiboni ukuthi lesi isithangami sokuthi sikhombise sizofundisa kodwa bekuyisithangami sokujabula ngoba nakho uAllah subhanahu wa ta'ala usesikhombise intokozo yakhe ngokuthi namhlanje avuse phakathi kwethu okokuqala uvuse abafundisi nabo bakhona bancane phakathi kwethu nathi wasivusa wasinikeza iIslam wenza ukuthi sibe amasulumane kulelizwe. Ngiyakhumbula ukuthi it was always said ukuthi this is an Indian religion. Kodwa ubuke namhlanje ukuthi sibona amandiya embalo. But it's not an Indian religion. Yinkolo ka Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lena. Sihlanganela njengamasulumane siyambonga Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala osibusise ngale nkolo le yeIslam. Alhamdulillah ala ni'mati al-Islam wa kafa biha ni'ma. Ilingene njengesibusiso la kuthina. Bakwethu engijabulelayo ukuthi kufezeka amazwi noma amagama omprofeti ukuthula makube kuye sallallahu alaihi wasallam owathi ekhuluma ngayo iIslam ukuthi iIslam yaqala njengento eyayingazewa kuyinto emangaza abantu. iIslam wathi kuzohamba kuhambe ihambe iphele phakathi kwabantu. Kepha izophinda ibuye futhi izobuya ibamangalisa abantu. Kodwa phakathi kwalabo bantu abazobe bephethe iIslam wathi kukhona abantu abafana nesihambi ubiza amagharib. How do you say that again? Blessed are those, the strangers. Islam started as something uncommon and strange and shall come back as something uncommon and strange, and blessed are the strangers. And we see that this is true for our communities. We are strangers among people of our communities. People look at us as either, mad, or we look at us as imitators of Indians or imitators of foreigners. But the truth, iqiniso ukuthi Allah has guided you to this religion. Today I would like to make it a point that everybody, you always hear, ikakhulukazi when you are a Muslim, you hear from our brothers from the established Muslim communities. They come to you and say, who made you Muslim? That is one of the most debilitating questions that you get. Who made you Muslim? And maybe you have been asked that question before. And they will keep on asking you that question again. But umfundisi la uthe uma uAllah efuna ukukubusisa noma ukukhombisa intokozo yakhe noma ukukujabulela wenza ukuthi idini ukufundisa idini ukunikeza ulwazi lwedini. Uma kuAllah ukunikeza ulwazi lwedini uyithathe kubani ke leyo dini leyo? Even as I stand here, when people ask me, why did you become a Muslim? You find all these strange questions within the house of Islam. Why did you become a Muslim? When I accepted Islam a long time ago, which I have forgotten, Alhamdulillah, I do not know, I was just attracted to Islam. Why I was attracted, I do not know, because I was in a position. There is something that we must all know, and we must recognize it. Sometimes we do not look deeper into why we are where we are. Asizibuza ukuthi kwenziwe yini ukuthi sibe ama-Muslim. As a young man, my father was a priest. And later on, he left the church because they could not satisfy his need for political freedom. And he became a politician. Later on, I grew up in the house of a politician rather than a priest. Politicians ask questions. And there is one thing that children do. Children listen. And parents do not know that when their children listen, they create something in the hearts of those children. There is something that happens when you say things which evoke emotions and evoke thought of looking deeper into your own existence as a human being. And this, in our communities, we don't look at it. And you see it more with those communities which are called, quote unquote, enlightened, people who like writing things, and which is what we were supposed to be as Muslims. As they always say, we are supposed to be an Iqra community, a community that reads, because that was the beginning or the foundation of this Islam. Iqra. Isisekelo se-Islam siqala lapho ngenkathi uJibril alayhi salatu wassalam efika esemgedeni uRasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ngenkathi embamba emcindezele ebeke esifubeni sakhe wathi kuye Iqra, funda, cubungula, ngena olwazini ujule. Wathi umprofeti sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yini ekufanele ukuba ngiyifunde? Wathi funda ngegama likamdali wakho uAllah owakudalayo. Owadala umuntu ngehlulele egazi, usemnikeza izinto ebengazicabanga. Yikhona lokho ekushoyo ukuthi umzali uyazikhuluma izinto, kodwa nangu uJibril usefika kuRasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, khalaqal insana min 'alaq. Kuhlangana ukufunda nokuthi umuntu wadalwa ngehlulele egazi. Uma usulutholile lolo lwazi, ngelinye ilanga uzongena ukuze ukuthi kungani uAllah ethi khalaqal insana min 'alaq. Then you will go there. Kodwa uma kuthiwa iqra kuwe eqaleni njengesisekelo salento le esihlanganisile la, sihlanganiswe ukuthi kwaba khona lelo gama elithi iqra, funda. Singabafundi njengoba sila sonke, ayikho into esingayifunda. We are all students and we are still learning, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase us in knowledge. Rabbi zinani ushilo umfundisi. When Allah increases you in knowledge, He makes you to understand the reason why you were created. And I'm trying to weave a blanket here. I'm going back and forth. As Islam started as something which was uncommon and strange, what was uncommon about Islam when it started? When Islam started, the greatest followers of the Prophet ﷺ were poor people. Not the rich, and not those of position. Those who were rich opposed him. The rich came to the Prophet ﷺ saying, "Where Muhammad ﷺ, yini leno ikhulumayo? Ufuna uba inkosi phakathi kwethu? Bangabe ufuna uba inkosi, nabo ubukhosi singakunikeza bona. Ufunani? Ufuna intokazi enhle kunazo zonke intokazi ezikhona lapha eArabia. Noma ufuna umcebo na? Usethu Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, noma ningathatha le ntaba lena niyiphendule ibe yigolide. Nikwazi nibe namandla okuthatha ilanga nilibeke la esandleni sami. Lokho engikushoyo angisoze ngakuyeka." Yilokho okwenza ukuthi sibheke ukuthi wena uba yi-stranger, uba yinto engaziwa, uba uzoba yinhlekisa phakathi kwabantu bakini, ngoba becabanga ukuthi ufike nento ezokwenza ukuthi bangabuboni ukubona babo noma bangakwazi ukuthola ukuthi benze lento ethandwa yibona. Umuntu ukudalwa kwakhe wadalelwa kusho iQur'an ukukhonza uAllah nokumemela abanye abantu ekuthina khonza uAllah kuphela. Into eyenza ukuthi le Islam lena kube yinto emangalisa abanye abantu ukuthi namhlanje ngibona la phakathi kwethu there are more women than men, and this has become a phenomenon la eSouth Africa. Sekuyinto ngempela evula iso labantu abantu bamangala bathi kwenziwa yini ukuthi le Islam ilandele omama kuqala. Baningi impela yonke indawo iIslam ithandwa omama. Asazi noma mhlawumbe la eSouth Africa omama baningi kunobaba yini. Kodwa nakuba kunjalo uAllah uwenze ukuthi imbokodo akube yiyona ehamba phambili. Omama njengoba kuthiwa sithi isingisi, a man is a rolling stone. Bese bethi a man gathers no moss, but a woman is a grinding stone. And I believe that is why Allah enze ukuthi umuntu wesifazane namhlanje kube uyena ohamba phambili hayi abantu besilisa. Ngoba umuntu wesifazane uRasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam kuthiwa noma yisisho noma abafundisi bazolungisa iphutha mangabe kuyiphutha. Kuthiwa ngesi-Arab al-ummu madrasatun. Umama uyisikole. Umama ngendlela emkhulu ngakhona uyisiwalakahla sesibusiso uba nomama. Labo abanabazali noma umuntu make eke waba nomzali makushona ubaba hayi siyazibuza bathi khona ubaba hayi cha ubaba shonile. Kodwa mzukwane ulahlekelwa umama. Thina siyakwazi ke lokho. Izwe livele liphele lapha phambi kwakho awufuni ukuzwa lutho. Ngisho noma ngabe sekuthiwa umama bengasebenzi kuwena kwathi umama esanda kushona ngibuye emsebenzini ngathi ngingene endlini ngoba ngangijwayele ukuya ekamereni kuyena kodwa kwezwakala nje ngifike ekitchen ukuthi akekho. Allah in this country has given hidayah more to the women, and you will see the men coming behind with their tails between their legs. Nine nabo ninja mina mahloni ikhona okuzokwenzeka. Kodwa njengoba umfundisi ekhulumile uma uAllah ekhombise lesibusiso uzokufundisa iIslam yakho sicela ukuthi niqine bomama kwiIslam. Kungabile yonto lezo ninikeza amandla ukuthi niphume niyozenyeza nikhangezwe. Ingiphatha kabi leyo nto leyo mina. uAllah usinike izandla, usinikeze namehlo, wasinikeza nomqondo ukuthi sikwazi ukuzenzela. Indaba yokuthi sime siyokhangezwa, to go and beg, when you have the greatest of givers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to beg from, it is, to say the least, a misunderstanding of who you are as his slave. Because in the Quran he says, Ud'uni astajib lakum. Says, ask and I will give you. Call upon me and I will answer you. Noma yini oyidingayo amathulusi okwenza okufika egcekeni lika Allah akhona la kwaIslam. Uma kuukuthi futhi akekho umuntu ongangitshela ukuthi akakwazi lokho. Kuyashiya ukuthi amaMuslimi abantu abalibopha ibhande we fast. Abanye abantu baze babuza ukuthi besifonela thina esiye emsakazweni bathi ake nisitshele ukuthi nini uma nibopha ibhande nizila nisuke nizilelane. umbuzo umuntu ukuthi awungitshela wena iSulumane noma ulona iSulumane. Uma engelona iSulumane sekuyithuba kuwena ukuthi ukwazi ukumphendula lo muntu ummeme ukuthi ayisondeze. Umbuzo ukuthi angithi uyazi ukuthi